So this is 3.4 problem set, and we're going to jump to number 30, and might as well do one of the harder ones with you. Okay, so we cannot do anything on the left side of the equal sign, so we're just going to leave that alone. I can't combine any of these. And let's just do our distribution first. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 3 is 6, so we got rid of our parentheses. And let's see, combine like terms. We can't do anything on the left side. We have an x and a regular number, so we can't do anything there, but we can here. We can combine the -7 plus the 6. Signs are different. Take the difference between the two as 1 and put the sign of the largest on there. And we have that. Alright, so now we're trying to get my x's on one side or the other of the equal sign, because we have 1 on both sides. So I'm going to move this one. I kind of like having my x's on the left, so I think that's probably what most people are used to. So let's go ahead and make that 3x minus 7 equals -1, and that went away. Now again, I'm still working at getting my x by itself. I have a -7, so I'm going to add a 7 here, add a 7 here. Those go away then. So I have 3x equals -1 plus 7. Signs are different. Take the difference between the two, put the sign of the largest on the answer, and it's a +6. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 3 to get rid of that 3 in front of the x. So that goes away. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, this is number 38. And we have 3 different fractions here. And we need to find the common denominator of these 3 fractions. What number does both 3 and 2 go into evenly? And it's the smallest number we can come up with. Well, 3 and 2 both go into 12, but they also go into 6. So 6 is the smallest one that both 3 and 2 go into. So remember, we don't like to work with fractions, so in order to get rid of the fraction, we're going to take our least common denominator, 6, and multiply the whole thing by that 6. So let's go ahead and just distribute this and write it out as being distributed. So I'm going to take 6 times x over 2 plus 6 times 4 over 3 equals 6 times -2 over 3. Alright, so then let's go ahead and multiply these out. So we have 6x over 2 plus 24 over 3 equals -12 over 3. Well, 6 over 2 reduces to 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and we'll put the minus sign. Now notice, one of the things that's really important, the fractions will always go away. So when you have like 24 over 3, you know that that's going to divide out into a whole number. It won't divide out with a remainder. So if you get a fraction when you divide these out, then you did something wrong, because all the fractions will disappear. That's the whole point of doing what we're doing here. Alright, so now we got rid of our fractions. We want to get rid of this 8, so we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. So that goes away. And we have -4 minus 8, or -4 plus -8. Signs are the same, so we add the two together and put the sign on our answer. Then we divide by 3, divide by 3. That goes away. X equals -12 over 3. 12 over 3 is 4. Put the negative on there. So our answer is -4. So this is number 46, the last one on this on the equation section. And remember what we did when we had a variable on the bottom with another number on the bottom. So we have a 5 on the bottom and an x on the bottom. So you put the two together and multiply the entire thing by the two that are put together. So the entire thing by 5x. So let's go ahead and write it as is. Not actually do any of the work yet. One thing I want to show you here, This is a minus 4/5. Notice I left the minus here and I put the 4/5 over here, and notice there's not a minus sign on it. It's because it's over here. When you've got these things together, it doesn't matter where that minus sign goes. I mean, I could have made this a plus 5x and put the minus sign here. All would have worked out. So just so you know, the minus sign is still there. It's just left over there, and I stuck a 5x between the two. So, like I say, in multiplication, it doesn't matter. Alright, so let's do some canceling. I have an x here and an x here, so I can cancel those. I have a 5 here and a 5 here, so I can cancel those, and a 5 and a 5. Now let's see what I've got. 5 times 3 is 15, minus, don't forget the minus. I have a 4 and an x left, and I have a negative x there, a negative 1x. Okay. So let's see here. Let's move this over here so we can get the x's together and the 15 left alone on that side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add a 4x here. I'm going to add a 4x there. Okay, so I have a negative x plus 4x. Signs are different, so I take the difference between a 4 and an assumed 1, and the sign of the largest on the answer. Now we can divide both sides by 3, and x equals 15/3, which reduces to 5, and we're done. This is number 50, and we're given the perimeter is 60. So if we add up all the sides, the x side plus the base plus the long angled side, which is actually called the hypotenuse, we get 60. So we add all these up, common terms like terms, and we get 5 x's. We add this, and we get a 10. That equals 60, and you can probably go from there pretty easy. I'm not even going to show my work there. Subtract 10 from both sides. Now we divide both sides by 5, and we get 50 over 5, which is 10. And we were able to find x then. This is actually a story problem number 51 entitled Geometry, and I'm not going to do this problem with you. I'm going to leave that for you to do, but I just want to explain what's going on here because that looks like a pretty complicated thing here. It says the figure below shows part of a room from a point on the floor. So here's the point on the floor. The angle of elevation to the top of the window. So an angle of elevation means the angle from the floor up to the top of the window. Here's the top of the window. So the angle of elevation from here to here. Elevation means that you're going up from horizontal, from, like in this case, the floor. So the angle of elevation is 45 degrees to the top of the window. Now if we go to the ceiling over here, the angle of elevation goes even higher. So it goes all the way up past the angle of elevation for the window to the angle of elevation to the ceiling. Solving either equation, and then they give you two equations, 58 minus x equals 45 or 45 plus x equals 58, will give us the number of degrees in the angle labeled x. So they're trying to find out the angle right here between the two. In order to do that, you can do either 58 minus x equals 45, or you can do 45 plus x equals 58. So you've got two equations. They want you to solve for x for both equations, and what you'll find out is the answer you get is going to be the same for both of them. But I just wanted to explain what this angle of elevation is. So there's the angle of elevation to the top of the window. There's the angle of elevation to the ceiling. And they're interested in the difference between the two. So that's it for problem set 3.4.